had been anointed by God. He told his men, I'm not going to harm what God has anointed. After he passed these tests, after David showed God what he was made of, a man of character and integrity, God took care of Saul and David was made the king. In the night seasons, if you will pass these tests, change where you need to change, deal with the areas God's bringing to light, prove to him that you'll do the right thing when it's hard. You'll forgive even though they hurt you. Then like David, because your character has been developed, God will bring you out of that night season and get you to where you're supposed to be. But some things we can only develop in the dark. Without the night seasons, we wouldn't become all God created us to be. A caterpillar can be going along just fine. Everything is great. But down deep something says, you're not supposed to crawl your whole life. You have more in you. He gets excited thinking, yes, that's right. Then he looks in the mirror and says, what was I thinking? I'll never fly. I'm just a glorified worm. That's impossible. But one day, the caterpillar spins a cocoon around itself. He hangs upside down from a branch. It's dark. He can't move. He can't eat. If you were to ask him when he was in the cocoon, he would say, let me go back to where I was. Let me go back to being a caterpillar. I don't like where I am. I'm uncomfortable. It's dark. It's lonely. What he doesn't realize is in the dark, a transformation is taking place. Before long, he starts feeling some wings. He gets the strength to push out of that cocoon. Now, instead of crawling on the ground, he's a beautiful butterfly floating through the air. Like the caterpillar, none of us like the night seasons. We don't like being uncomfortable. We don't see anything happening. But there are times that God incubates us. He takes us through the dark places, not to make us miserable, but in the dark, a transformation is taking place. You're growing, you're being refined. You may not like it, but you have to keep reminding yourself your wings are developing. You're about to step up to a new level. No more crawling, living in mediocrity. You were made for higher things. You may be in a night season, but by faith, I can see your cocoon starting to open up. I can see a wing coming out. This is no time to be discouraged. You're on the verge of taking off. You're about to become a beautiful butterfly. You're going to go places that you've never dreamed. Now, don't complain about the cocoon. It's dark. It's uncomfortable. I'm lonely. Keep a good attitude. It's all a part of the process. God is changing you from glory to glory. In the scripture, Jacob had not lived the right kind of life. He was dishonest. He cheated people, tricked his brother out of his birthright. You would think that God wouldn't have anything to do with him. But God doesn't write us off. He keeps working with us, showing us his mercy. Jacob was traveling on a long journey through the desert. He was hot and tired, hungry. Nothing was going his way. He came to a place to spend the night. All he could find for a pillow was a rock. He was in a hard place, a lonely time, a night season. I'm sure he thought that God had forgotten about him. He went to sleep that night down on himself, discouraged, full of regrets. While he was sleeping, he had a dream. He saw the heavens open up. There was a huge staircase with angels going up and down. At the top, the Lord was standing there. He said, Jacob, the ground you are lying on belongs to you and your descendants. I will protect you wherever you go. I will be with you continually until I give you everything that I have promised. When Jacob woke up, he couldn't believe what he had seen. He said, surely the Lord was in this place. What's interesting is he wasn't in the church, wasn't in a temple, wasn't in the synagogue. He was in the desert. God was showing us that he's the God of hard places, the God of lonely times, the God of night seasons. You may be in a difficulty now, fighting a battle in your health, dealing with depression, raising a special needs child, you feel alone, forgotten, discouraged, God is right there with you. Like with Jacob, I believe the heavens are about to open up. God is going to make things happen that you couldn't make happen. You may be in a hard place, but you're not staying there. Your health is going to improve. You're going to break that addiction. The right people are going to show up. You're going to say like him, the Lord was in this place. The Lord healed me from cancer. The Lord freed me from depression. The Lord blessed my business. He's not going to stop until he's given you everything that he's promised. You've heard the phrase, the night shift. That means, of course, people that work during the night. But think of it another way. In the night, things are going to shift. The scripture says God never sleeps. He doesn't just work the night shift, but he shifts things in the night. You may be in a night season. You don't see how it could work out. Don't worry. A night shift is coming. The God who works the night shift is going to shift things in your favor. There's going to be a shift in your health, a shift in your finances, a shift with that addiction. You think you're going to have it for years. It looks permanent. No, get ready for a night shift. This is what happened with Paul and Silas. They were in prison for spreading the good news. Down in the deepest dungeons, their feet were in chains. But at midnight, as they were singing praises to God, suddenly there was a great earthquake. The prison doors flung open. The chains came off their feet. They walked out as free men. What happened? God shifted the earth, shifted the prison doors. When did it happen? At midnight. It was a night shift from the God who works the night shift. Things that look permanent in your life, the addiction, the sickness, the panic attacks, the lack and struggle, thoughts will tell you you'll always have to deal with that. Don't believe those lies. You're in a night season. That means you're in perfect position for a night shift. God specializes in shifting things in the dark. Instead of worrying all through the day, Lord, thank you for a night shift. Thank you that things are changing in my favor. It's dark now, but God, I believe what you said. Light is about to come bursting in. Genesis chapter 2. Adam was in the Garden of Eden by himself. Life was good. He was naming the animals that God created, enjoying the crystal clear river, beautiful trees, delicious fruit. There were no problems, no sickness, no opposition. He didn't think it could get any better. But God didn't want him to live alone. Verse 21 says, God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep.